This is The Scoop for Thursday.
I'm Lisa Marzilli with the WMNF News headlines. Senate and House Republicans in Tallahassee filed identical bills yesterday that could financially penalize state university and college students who back what they say are foreign terrorist groups such as Hamas. Senator Blaise Ingoglia and Representative John Temple filed SB 470 and HB 465 for consideration during the upcoming legislative session, which starts in January. The bills would seek to penalize any student who, quote, promotes a foreign terrorist organization, including requiring students to pay out-of-state tuition rates. The bill would also prevent the students from being eligible for such things as state grants and financial aid tuition assistance. The bills provide a definition for foreign terrorist organizations that, in part, would apply to Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, but do not define what constitutes a violation. A new report says Florida's prison system is unsustainable without the infusion of billions of dollars for renovations, staffing support, and at least one new prison. The Tampa Bay Times reports that in late 2022, the state hired an auditing firm, KPMG, to create a 20-year master plan for the Florida Department of Corrections. The firm presented a draft of its findings to a group of state senators yesterday. They outlined 3 different scenarios that would either modernize, manage, or mitigate the problem in its prisons. In each plan, Florida would need to build at least one new prison, create hundreds of hospital beds, and reopen dorm beds that have been closed due to short staffing. The Times reports the estimated cost over 20 years could run anywhere from $6 billion to $12 billion, depending on the plan. Enrollment in Florida's Medicaid program has dropped by more than 670,000 people since the end of a federal public health emergency. As Margie Menzel reports, now a potential class action lawsuit continues about the state's handling of the issue.
When the COVID-19 pandemic began, the federal government agreed to pay more for Medicaid, which provides health care to low-income people and is jointly funded by the federal and state governments. In exchange, states had to agree that they wouldn't drop people from Medicaid during the emergency. Florida's program grew by about 2 million people through last April. Now a federal judge will hear arguments December 5th in a potential class action lawsuit, alleging the state hasn't provided enough information to Medicaid beneficiaries before dropping them from the program. For WFSU News, I'm Margie Menzel.
After reviewing multiple complaints, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office has recommended that criminal charges be filed against former County Administrator Dr. Scott Hopes. The complaints allege violations of Florida's public records, theft, and notary laws. Manatee County deputies confirmed that the complaints were in reference to Hopes' county-issued cell phone and tablet. Charges have been recommended and investigation materials have been forwarded to the state attorney's office for review. After a low over the Gulf of Mexico doused South Florida with inches of rain yesterday, the flash flood risk moves northward today. Meteorologist Megan Borowski from the Florida Public Radio Emergency Network reports.
So I'll be watching the area near the I-4 corridor and also the Atlantic coast today. These spots are going to be sandwiched between a system over the Gulf and a system approaching the Caribbean. And it's in these regions where multiple lines of downpours and thunderstorms could set up today. Rain rates could top 2 inches an hour at times, and local flooding will be possible, especially over the eastern half of the peninsula along the Atlantic coast. On top of that, I will also be monitoring the Gulf Coast. A few strong thunderstorms could develop over the Gulf today, and they'll be quite gusty as they come ashore.
Borowski says all Floridians should stay weather aware today. If a flood warning is issued for the area, seek higher ground and never drive through flooded streets. If a severe thunderstorm threatens the area, seek shelter in an interior room on the lowest level of a sturdy building. In weather, cloudy and breezy today with a high of 78 and a 60% chance of rain. Lows tonight will be in the upper 60s. Partly sunny with a high of 82 on Friday. I'm Lisa Marzilli with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.